What is up, my friends? Welcome back. We're now into double digits, Curry, episode 11. And to be honest with you guys, some of you guys are going to your pants when you learn about this topic that we're going to talk about today. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So watch all the way through. Get all of the hot, sweet, juicy nuggets that we're going to throw your way. Two dudes talking coming at you. By the way, if you're watching, it is really cool if you would smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you get notified anytime we upload new content, which is every single week. Do you want to be the first to know? Hit that little bell icon, doodad, and you will be. Curry, man, it's a beautiful Monday morning. We're here recording again, and we're talking about a subject that most people won't do, and that's going live. But I'll give you an example. I have a gal on my team. When she goes live, she slams home sometimes a dozen sales in after a 20-minute live or a 30-minute live or however long she goes live. And it's just crazy. Some people slam it down and other people will never ever do it because of fear. What are your thoughts on going live? Let's open up the can.
Well, we got to start with the obvious. Everything in the world of success comes from discomfort. If you're
True
already
story.
comfortable, you ain't gonna do. You're gonna be just exactly where you are. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if
Here's
I
your
watched
bubble.
right, it's like if
Success is
this
out
is
here.
yeah, it's over there, and you got to get to it. And I love that I went to an event a long time ago, and this larger than life individual who was the top of the company was rocking, having massive success, and he comes out on stage as the final speaker of the event, and he's talking about fear. And he's standing there on the stage, and somebody walks out and puts a gigantic, like 12-foot yellow boa constrictor around his neck. And he is terrified of snakes. And he literally gave us one of the greatest examples of the only way to overcome fear is to do a thing enough. So if you're afraid of going to the dentist, I'm afraid of the dentist. In October of last year, I went to the dentist every single week to take care of some massive amounts of problems that I had with my teeth. And by the end of October, I could care less about that dentist. Like I had no fear of walking in, sitting in that chair, getting a little shot to numb up an area, letting them do their thing. I was more calm and ready, and it was just doing the thing. So for me, and in this journey, and we talk about going live, you said it. Most people won't do it
Hmm.
because they don't know what to say, they don't know what to think, they don't, and it's like until you step into it in anything, you don't know what to say. You
Hmm.
don't know what to send. You don't know what to talk about. But the moment you see that red light, it's like, okay, let's just talk. Like, well, it's and it's become the thing that I do best. Probably out of all the stuff I do, I have made more than 3,000 Facebook lives. I've just now in the last 3 weeks started doing TikTok lives, which I find to be way more fun than anything else I've ever done because of the interaction.
Hmm.
But we get on there and we just talk and we play and we sing songs and be goofy. And it's like you don't have to. By the way, let's kind of reset our thought process. Dan, and maybe you can jump in on this one. How do you prevent people from going live and just being a commercial? Like being you versus being a commercial. And I know we're going in a direction, but this
Hmm.
is like I tell people, like, dude, nobody wants to watch your commercial. They want to know who you are and where
Yep.
you're going and your story. And it's like figure out the mix.
I think there can be I think there can be a mix. And I know this because I've done it myself where there's certain lives where I go live once a week on at least minimum once a week on my YouTube channel and I do a presentation. I do a business presentation. It's the equivalent of inviting people into a Zoom, doing a business presentation, bringing people onto your team, etc. I love those lives because, I hit up my email list, I post it on social, say, hey, I'm going live, doing a thing, come see what this is all about, whatever. And I love that because I get to hang out, I get to present, I get to answer questions, I get to show people I'm real. Um, but the other super, super, did I mention super?
Yes.
Important part about going live is we reference this on a video or two or 10 that we've done here. Um, the acronym RVL, results, value, lifestyle, three different styles of posts that you should be doing out there on social. Results driven. Hey, wow, look at what this thing is doing. Value. What type of value does the end user get by reading your content, watching your content, listening to your content, blah, blah, blah. And then L, lifestyle, the biggest part of that acronym that most people leave out. Show people that you are a real person. Tell your story. Even if your story's 5 minutes old, you still have a story. Let people know that you are not a robot constantly just pitching, 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 pitching. As you said, showing people like this commercial. Like, let people know that you're a real human being and they can connect with you. They can ask you questions. They can be like, oh, Curry, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? How you been? Hey, you know what, Billy Bob? I am fantastic. I'm loving life today, hanging out, doing my thing, going golfing, whatever it is. But yeah, I think you can have a mix. I know I personally have a mix where it's like it's a little of both, but you can't just do the commercial. You can't just do like, and this isn't just, I'm kind of tailing off here a little bit, but like it isn't just about going live. Like when you're posting on social, like you can't just post business, 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 business all the time if you're on a social network, like the four major platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Insta, Facebook, because those are meant to be infotainment, entertainment. Like if you're on LinkedIn, maybe a little different because the crowd's a little different. People are there literally for business, so might be a different story over there. But if you're on the major social platforms, people are there to be social. They're there to be entertained. They're there to hang out. So I think if you fit your lives into that agenda, it can do extremely well for you. I don't know your thoughts on that, Curry.
Well, yeah, I was sitting here thinking about the broader purpose of doing it. Now, so you have two purposes. One of the purposes is you to practice talking, you to practice being able to speak for an extended period of time about anything, about
Mm-hmm.
nothing, about anything, about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I remember running a 100-day challenge one time in my group where we all did lives for 100 straight days. And I had an older lady who would just sit at her outdoor coffee table, her outdoor table, talk about her plants in her garden, would have a little coffee with Karen, and just sat there every morning and did a live and just talked about the birds and the land and the stuff that she had, and
I
it
bet she connected with so many people.
drew in a lot of people. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the second purpose of going live is developing know, like, and trust with people who've never really gotten to know you. And they
Mm-hmm.
always say, and I don't like this term, I don't like it. I don't like that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. I'm not a fan of developing weird relationships with people. I just, if you have something that somebody wants, somebody's going to buy it. Forget. I mean, it does work for
We
some.
we talked about this
We
in one of
did.
the earlier episodes.
We did.
Yep.
But when you go live, people get to see your personality. They
Mm-hmm.
get to see how real you are. They get to see if you're authentic. They get to see, that's the word. Out of everything that I've been called, besides a dumb A and being cussed at, people say Curry Russell is authentic,
Mm-hmm.
because what you see is what you get all the time. I'm not going to change, but they've seen it because I've made thousands of lives. I've spent years practicing talking, and we can come on these. And Dan and I have no script, we have no plan. We pick 2 or 3 words at the beginning of this thing,
Literally.
and we talk. And we do. We talk about the thing for an hour or however long we do it, and lives gave us the ability to do this. We practiced a lot, and
Hmm.
you can too, because it's free. There is no cost to getting better,
Yep.
just time. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people, like slightly off topic here. It's amazing the amount of people that like as I'm communicating with them, as they're thinking about getting started or wanting to get started, whatever, the amount of people that will say, "Hey, how much money do I need for ads? Is this going to get expensive?" And I'm like, "Where are
Ads.
you even coming up with that?" It amazes me like just the fears or things that people put in their head that they just assume that there's certain things that they have to do, and it's like you just got to go and then you're going to learn as you go. Like don't assume or think like, anyway. um
Dude, that's a great point. I mean, for me, the way that I built for years is every single day I would wake up and go to Facebook, and I would literally add from recommended friends 20 to 30 new recommended friends a day. I let them sit there. I'm not the kind of guy that just goes and messages all those people that just became friends with me and then run them off immediately. I don't do that.
yep.
I literally would add 20 to 30 friends a day, every single day. And then I go live once a day, twice a day, whenever I would want to do it. Let people watch me who just interacted with me. And then after a month or so, I start deleting people. Like I go and refresh my
Yep.
system. And I don't hold on to people. I let people watch me. If they want to figure out to do what I'm doing, I'm not chasing people.
Yep. I think this is a little bit of a segue. Um, but I think it's worth talking about. You mentioned a very important activity, which I've shared with my team, 100 times, do myself, because for those that know or don't know, whatever, like my main Facebook account is suspended right now for
You're just a naughty guy, man. You're
weapons
naughty.
and guns. You know me, always
Always
flaunting
on the
that
weapons.
stuff. But anyway, so I have a backup Facebook account that I've had for years. I just never really used it. It was just kind of there, and I'm rebuilding that. So I'm going through and I'm going through that same process that you just mentioned, Curry, where I'm adding, new friends every single day. And I want to talk about something really quick that this is important here. Where if you, I want to talk about vanity metrics because this made what you said something that deleting friends when you're out there posting. If you're using social media and you're posting on, let's say, Facebook, right? And you're posting on Facebook and you post a video and your video gets like 5 views, but you have like 500 friends or 1,000 friends or 10,000 friends, doesn't matter what it is, and you're just not getting the views, it just means you need more friends, you need more engagement. And it's the same thing with an email list where you could have, I know people out there that have like, they're like, oh, I have an email list of 100,000 people. And it's like, yeah, but you're getting a 1% open rate, which means that you have something on paper that looks really great, but the reality is the result that you're getting sucks. So you got to delete some of those subscribers that have never opened an email because it might look cool to have them all. And it's the same thing with followers. You could have 5,000 followers, but if you post a video and you get 9 views, that means that all of those followers, none of them are engaging with you. So you may want to go through and clean your house and get rid of some of that stuff and then go find some new people. Because one of the best lines I ever learned in this industry is the solution is and always will be go find more people.
New
Like
blood, baby. New blood.
new blood, exactly. So we never arrive. Like you're never going to arrive where it's like I have officially received the most amount of people I can on my social networks. I'm good. I don't need to go find anybody else. Like you will never be at that point. So it's always good to add more friends and go live and connect with those people. it's it's
Well,
kind of basic.
you only
Go ahead.
get 5,000 friends. Like you can keep followers all day long, but
Sure.
the friends, you only get 5,000. So for me, it was build up to 5,000, delete 3,000, build
Yeah.
up to 5,000, delete 3,000. And
Yep.
heck, I've used tools to help me delete people at a massive rate. And by the way, that can put you in Facebook jail. So
Yeah.
I am not, I don't have an emotional attachment to fake friends. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm using these platforms to change my family's life to make money. And I'm going to only build relationships with people who are building with me in the direction that I'm going, or people who add value to my life.
Hmm.
Like Dan and I are not in the same business. We are not benefiting each other. We are literally friends because we actually add value to one another's life in the space. We bounce ideas off each other. We do
Hmm.
this podcast together. And we met through social media,
Yep. 100%.
probably on a live with Joel and Grady.
Yeah. Most likely on an OSP live.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to going live, guys, like I would say the average person isn't going to go live because of once they go live, it's what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? I'm going to be boring. People won't be interested. Insert whatever here. Insert excuse, insert fear, insert phobia, whatever it is. Your example, with the person on your team where, she would talk about like her plants and her garden and whatever else. I mean, like what a great way to segue into something that gives people a lot of fear is talk about here's my goal here, and I know Curry's too, like when we do these lives, is to give you guys some nuggets, to give you guys just something throughout these talks that you could take and apply into your life and apply into your business and get better at something. So when you go live, a great thing that you could do is maybe share something that you're passionate about. Remember, it does not always have to be about business. Your social profile does not have to be business, business, business 24/7. You can let people know that you're real, and this is the lifestyle part of it. Lifestyle, whatever the L is.
I think you're right. It's a good time.
You can pick one. It can be the lifestyle part of it, where you're talking about, like for me, like I could literally go live and talk about, oh, I was out golfing yesterday, and yeah, I shot a 91. It's my lowest score so far this year. And man, I'll tell you what, I was able to shave a couple strokes by doing this one thing. And man, it was what a great course, it was a beautiful day, whatever. And you just share your moment, share whatever. And you can go live for a minute, you can go live for 10 minutes, you can go live for an hour, you can go live for as long as you want, but just to get out there and do it. And then once you do it, the next time you go do it, it'll be a little easier. And the time you do it after that, it'll be a little easier. And each time it's going to get a little easier. So I would start with maybe talking about something that you're very comfortable talking about, like your passion, what brings you joy. And then I think this is where we could really start seeing some development is having you share your story. Now, again, a fear and a phobia that most people will have, especially when they're new, is, well, I don't have a story. I'm brand new. And Curry, I know we've learned this many, many years ago. Everyone has a story. Doesn't matter if you've been around for 10 minutes or 10 years. Everyone has a story.
And you got to talk about it. It's like
Yeah.
where you came from, why, like what you've been doing in your life, what has brought you to this moment, like
Yep.
what in the world carried your carcass, what carried you all the way over to here, and
Mm-hmm.
and why you're excited about the things that you're doing,
Yep.
and once again, it can lead, telling your story can lead to, I found this thing and I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. But here's the best part. And I'm not a fan when I go live on TikTok. I can't stand talking about my thing. I can't stand talking about my business. I love creating curiosity.
Yep.
And so when you're telling your story, it's like, look, I found it and it's changing my life. And it is really, really making a difference in the direction that I'm heading. And if you would like to figure out what it is I'm doing, drop something in the comments, or click the link in my bio, or
Yep.
blah, 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 whatever your path is. But you get these people that come into these platforms and they don't know how to be a human being. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, are you a real person right now? Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I get turned off by so much at what people do. But when I flip over to a live and somebody's telling their story about what they and their husband just did last night, and they went to Home Depot and they got these screws and they were going to put them in this board and it was the wrong size and they did this thing and it was a mess. And it's like, I love hearing these crazy stories. It's like, oh man, you guys are real human beings. And then they go, and you know what? And we did it all because we had some extra income from a thing that we've been doing. And let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, it's been a good life.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be the same exact way if I was literally talking about golf and or talking about hanging out with the guys playing cornhole out front or doing whatever. And it's like, man, I just feel so blessed because I get to play golf during the week when most people are working. And, if it wasn't for this business, I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't have to play on the weekend when the rates are higher and it's busier and the course is crowded and you got someone shooting balls up your butt. And it's just like, it's just way overcrowded out there. It's like, I get to go out at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday because, I found this thing a few years ago and it's completely transformed my life. It's talk about something like that. But the point about telling your story, guys, is you need to remember this. This weaves into the RVL, results, value, lifestyle. You know, you are going to be able to connect with someone, if not thousands or maybe even millions of people, by telling your story and letting people know that you're a human being. And when you think about telling your story, go back to a point in time. It could be any point in time. It could be a month ago. It could be for me when I truly tell my story, when I have the time and I truly tell my story of how I got to this point. All you're really doing is, picture a timeline. The point you pick, which whatever that is, for me it would be 20 years ago. For Curry it would be X amount of years ago. For you it could be, like I said, it could be 10 minutes ago, 30 days ago, 10 years ago, where you want to start from. And you start saying, hey, I remember back when I was doing whatever, and I first had this interest in home-based business. And I first had this thing, and then I got introduced to this thing, and then I tried this, and I failed at this, and I tried that, and whatever. And you weave up to where you are right now today, and you can weave in some personal things in there. You can weave in some business things in there. You can weave in whatever it is that you want to talk about, but you start at a point and you weave your way up to where you are today. That is the point and really kind of the outline of telling a story. And remember, everyone has a story. Please, make a note, write that down, comment that down below. Don't feel like, oh, I'm the only one. I'm the only human being in existence that doesn't have a story. You have a starting point and you have where you are today right now. Everybody has that.
And
Everyone.
everybody has something to connect with you with.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like Dan's talking about golf. He could literally go live 15, 20 times, develop an entire golf network of new people that just love to know about golf. And then he gets an entire group of people joining his business who are all golfers. And now they're all telling very similar stories and they duplicate. I know single moms who are telling their story about their single mom lifestyle. I know moms who are stay-at-home moms who are telling their stay-at-home mom lifestyle. I know people who have just survived cancer and they literally connect with thousands and thousands of people who've had cancer. And then they just tell their story. And by the way, you don't know, and this is the weirdest thing that's happened to me in this journey. My best friend came from meeting through one of these things. My best friend. I literally never, he lives in Arizona. I live here in Ohio. And I never dreamed that because of one of these things and a conversation and blah, 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 that would lead to us guys who talk every day, a couple times a day, talk business, talk work, talk family. And guys, if you don't know, I'm not a fan of just small talk. I'm not. So having a guy who
Land the
I can,
plane.
right, it's like just get past all this noise.
Yep.
And this guy, we have a great time talking about nothing, but we connected through one of these things. You don't know who you're going to connect with, who you're going to relate to, and the relationships you're going to develop by putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I look at the people that I talk to the most on a daily basis, one of them's my wife. The
Hopefully,
probably the other four are not in the same zip code. They are not
right,
even in the same state.
right.
They are online people that are live in other states or other areas of the country. And again, to that exact point, those are the relationships that you've developed and built over the years. Like you never know who you're going to meet. You never know the type of person that's going to come into your life. And by the way, none of these things, none of these relationships or income or potential or any of that stuff is going to happen if you just sit there like a lump and you don't do anything. So get off your butt and just press live, go talk. The absolute worst thing that's going to happen if you go live, the absolute worst thing that's going to happen is somebody watching your live could be like, okay, that's boring. And then they scroll on to the next thing. And then guess what? Your life is exactly the same. Like it didn't cause you any pain. It didn't hurt you. You don't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. Like you could try it again and you get better the next time. And then you get better the next time. And the more you do it,
Isn't that
the
isn't that
easier it's
funny?
going to get.
Isn't that funny? That's the way. That's the only way that I've ever seen in any kind of thing, from hammering nails to sending out messages to talking to people. It's like the first couple times you do it, you miss that nail. You smack it on the side, you bend the nail the wrong
Mm-hmm.
way, you don't go in. It's like, and then you do it a couple hundred times and you're nailing nails perfectly across that whole board and you're doing the thing. And it's like, if you don't take that first step, you can't get better.
Yep.
You can't be bigger. You can't develop into who you're supposed to be if you don't take those first steps and do the thing.
No one shoots even par their first time on the course.
Could you imagine if somebody did? Could
Just
you imagine if
just
somebody just
does
was
not
locked
happen.
out? Yeah, just eagle,
Yeah.
eagle.
Just shooting holes in ones and eagles every time.
What is
Yeah,
this?
it doesn't happen, guys. You learn by doing. And just take those 3 words right now, drop them in the comments if you're serious. Okay? Learn by doing. That sums up the entire network marketing industry right there.
Yeah,
Curry, we
all of
just branded it. We slapped a label on it. If you want success in this industry, learn by doing. That's
only
it.
way.
You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to spend $100,000 a year to learn this stuff. We just summed it up and we gave it to you absolutely free.
And by the
Learn.
way, you can learn for free. So it costs nothing to learn, and then you just do
Isn't
what
that
you've been
crazy?
taught. Isn't that wild? You just go do the thing that somebody. And by the way, that's how we both got here. Like
Uh-huh.
we learned from people, and we saw other people doing some other things, and we did those things because they were winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like they've been telling us this for years, that if you follow the leader, literally, if a leader's doing something, you go do what leaders do to have what leaders have. And it's like, I like the people who go follow people who have nothing. Those are my favorite people. Hey, I was watching this guy the other day and I said, what guy? And they're like, well, this one guy. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And that guy doesn't have anything. Why are you watching that guy? What
Mm-hmm.
are you learning from people who don't have anything?
People do weird stuff. People do weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, to your point though, like that's years ago, I was watching a guy. Oh, by the way, I was watching a guy who was live on stage and he said a couple of words and I resonated with those words. And then I went and did what he was referring to. And by the way, I'm going to give you some numbers so you guys understand exactly to Curry's point. Let this also be a lesson too. Only take advice from people that have what you want or somewhere close to that, right? Take
Very
advice
good.
from the people that are out there doing the thing that you're trying to do and having the results that you're trying to have. Are you going to listen to broke Uncle Phil who doesn't have two nickels to rub together and he's like, don't do those things, they're scams. And it's like, I don't know if that's what Uncle Phil sounds like, but it sounds like it would. And, are you going to take advice from someone who's broke as a joke? Or are you going to take advice from someone who's in a position that you're trying to get to? So just think about that for a sec. So the guy that I was listening to, the guy that was on stage telling me about these, sharing these words and these things that he was doing that I said, that makes sense. I can go do that too. This person at that time was making $35,000 a day, not a month, $35,000 a day in their business. And I said, that's a guy that has his stuff together that I can learn from. So, I mean, Curry, I'm not any kind of expert here, but like, you and I are both full-time in network marketing. We've been around for a few years. Like, I think people can at least take some nuggets from us and put those into their repertoire and go use them and maybe start seeing some results. I don't know.
It is. I mean, it's possible. We might throw out a couple little bits and pieces here, but it's
Yeah.
like, well, but what most people miss for some reason, I don't understand how they miss this. We didn't do this overnight. There
No.
was no instantaneous success. We never got lucky. We worked our butt off, and it's like I can't figure out how people want to earn doctor income in a year or in 10 minutes from one of these things. And yet you watch a doctor go to school for minimum 12 years, minimum. There is
Mm-hmm.
no shortcut to being a doctor. You're going to school minimum 12 years. And then for some reason, you want this to be simple. We've been doing this. There are people who are making six-figure incomes in 6 months. There's people making six-figure incomes in 30 days. We got people who learn how to do these things really, really fast. But the vast majority who really do win, it takes a while for them to develop into the person they're going to be. And by
Mm-hmm.
the way, I tell my team this every day. It's like, if you're not going to be the one giving the presentation, you're not going to be the one talking, you're never going to be the leader. Who's going to listen to you? Who's going to follow you? You got to step into your greatness
Mm-hmm.
and learning to talk, learning to get in front of a camera, learning to be in front, holding a phone and just talking.
Mm-hmm.
You just gain a power. You gain an authority. You do become the expert in your area if you're willing to learn and get really, really uncomfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
by the way, let me tell you where the pain is. Let me be real honest.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
I'm gonna hurt your feelings. The pain is gonna come from your closest friends and family.
Oh, so
God, they're
true.
going to see you going live and they're going to be like, you shouldn't talk about stuff like that. You shouldn't tell people all the stuff you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. You shouldn't tell them that you went on vacation. You shouldn't tell them these things. You shouldn't tell them about your life. You shouldn't tell them. And you know what?
Why are you sharing that?
Yeah. You know what? At the end of the day, you got to make a decision. Look at where your family is and ask yourself, do you want to stay where your family is? Or do you want something a little bit more? Guys, the moment you come to an understanding in your life that the people you are the average of your five closest friends, that law is going to be eternal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're spending all your time with your mom and dad and cousins and brothers and your best friends and they're all making 30, 40, $50,000 a year, it's guaranteed you're going to stay there. But if you start building your relationships online with complete strangers and you start attracting people who are making six figures, seven figures, and you start interacting with those people and you start developing new relationships and you start distancing yourself because you understand, look, I love you guys. I appreciate that you're over there, but I'm moving in a different direction. Guys, lives did this to me. I can't be more real that my career changed because I was learning to present and learning to talk and learning to grow. It is, see, Dan alluded to something a second ago about, we're both full time in network marketing, but I still have a career. I have full time income, more than full time income, doctor income in network marketing, but I love what I do in my career, and they don't hassle me. I do it every day. I go do what I'm supposed to do. Guys, I don't have to sit here and be the guy that's like, well, you shouldn't have a job.
Hmm.
If you want to do your job, you love your job, you have some level of appreciation, do it. But my God, practice on being better.
Hmm.
Like, man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, that I get both.
Yeah, like when it comes to a job, guys, or just like having steady income to put food on your table and pay your bills and do those things is a really smart idea. So and we've talked about this before. Like I have people that are like, well, they'll join and they'll be in between jobs, or they're like, oh, I just got laid off, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go do this full time, and I'm just like, okay, but just to let you know, like you may want to go get another job. Like
Yeah.
it's
By the way, we should do an entire segment called when to jump. When to jump. You know
oh
what I
man,
mean?
what a good topic. What a good topic. I'm gonna write that down.
Dude, I tried once. I
I
quit.
can tell
And
you 100 times when not to jump.
right. I quit once and it went really, really bad. And we can tell that story. I'll be open about that. It went real bad. I got divorced. There's all kinds of, I mean,
Yep.
it was not a great decision by me. But I'm glad I did it. I am glad I did it. But it was a learning experience.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it multiple times and failed miserably. So that's a fun one right there, man. We'll put that. I just wrote that down. We'll put that in our pocket for next
When
round.
to jump. Yeah, dude. And I think hopefully we've beaten a horse to death. Like, man, we hope you get this. Like, what's the point? What's the value for us to bring you this gold? This is gold, by the way. If you're not getting what we're throwing out there, this stuff might not be for you. And that's okay. And I really wish people were okay with
Hmm.
understanding it's not for you. But at the end of the day, if you understand that you've got to change if you want change in your life.
Hmm.
You can't keep being comfortable. You can't do the same things. And I love that somebody taught me a long time ago. And it's like, if the people that you have with you right now was going to get you to the top, they already would have.
Yeah.
You need new people. You need to do new things. You need to become bigger. You need to have more traffic and more volume and more visual and more know, like, and trust and more storytelling and know how to talk. And it's like you can't stay the level you're at with the people you have to get you any farther than they've already got you at that point.
Just like I said earlier, the solution is and always will be go find more people. Like it's
Show more people.
that's it. That's it. I mean, like, so the whole thing here, guys, is just, don't be scared. I know you're going to be scared, but like, don't be scared to press live, and then just do it. Be real. Pick something you're passionate about. Pick something that, you can have some fun with. Pick a topic that if it brings you joy, it should be fairly easy to talk about. And
Have
another
you?
another cool thing too is, and this is, Curry, you kind of you hinted at this before. Um, ask questions when you're live. Um, ask questions when you guys go live. And this is a great way where you could just start connecting literally one on one and other people. It's trust me, guys, when I tell you this, it's like an addiction, not only from your end, where you get to connect with more people and you get to just converse and interact. And you're also doing this with people that want to talk about what you're talking about. but it's also an addiction for people that are watching because people love, trust me when I tell you this, people love hearing their name, and especially in a public format when they get to ask a question and the person that is live, which is you, who has the authority positioning, is answering their question. That is a feel good moment. That is a big dopamine hit for them, that they're like, oh, cool, they're answering my question, right? So if you're talking about golf or crochet or your lawn or your garden or whatever it is, and you, like, let's say we're talking about golf as an example, and I say to people, hey, what is your handicap, or what is your best score you've ever shot? And I was like, hey, mine's a 91, right? And I'm working on getting to the 80s. What's your best score? Oh, John, 76. Oh my gosh, John, that is amazing. Way to go. Curry, oh, you shot at 85. Cool, awesome, great job, Curry.
About
You know,
200. Don't lie. I'm
yeah,
about 200.
well, whatever. I'm just, but like when you interact like that, people are going to be like, oh, well, let me tell you my score, right?
Yep.
And you start creating that engagement. And you could do this with whatever topic you're talking about. Just ask
I,
questions, and when
I
you
do want to
do,
see the
trust
Dan
me.
Crochet channel.
What's that?
I do want to see the Dan Crochet channel. I do want to see that. I want to watch that.
That's on the dark web.
It's on the dark web.
That's on the dark web.
Making
Invite only.
making crocheted mankinis. Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
I crochet golf club covers. Um,
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
like I weave that one in there. Get it weaved.
That's nice.
Boom, man. The puns are flowing out. But no, like it's you just. Oh, we're having too much fun here. You just don't be afraid to just be afraid, guys. Like it's you can have so much more fun than you even realize, and you're never going to realize it unless you actually just go do it. So get
It's
out
so
there.
much more fun when you do it. It is. It
Oh
is so
yeah.
much more
Yeah.
fun.
I'll tell you, there's been a few times when I've been live on TikTok and it's like it got nerve-wracking for half a second, and then it got really fun. Where it was like I had like about a dozen people on, and then whatever happened, maybe a couple people shared it or whatever, and then it jumped up to like 50, and then it jumped up to 100, and I was like, whoa, we got a lot of people coming in. And then it went and it went up to like over 1,000, and I was like, whoa, we
It's a
got
good
a
day.
thousand people on. Man, the spotlight's really on me now. It's like, wait a minute. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. And then you know what I did? Once I hit that peak amount of viewers, this is a big clue, big hint for all of y'all right now. When you hit peak viewers, and it doesn't matter if peak viewers is 5 or it's 5,000 or 500, when you hit peak viewers, ask a question. Just ask a question. Pick something, whatever it is that you're talking about, and ask a question and get that engagement going.
Where you're from is the best first
Oh,
starter.
yeah.
My God, everybody wants to put their
It
where they're
could
from.
it could get really fun. Yeah, and then yeah, when you say where you're from, you don't just let them comment. When they comment, you go, "Oh,
Okay.
we got Arkansas in the house. Okay, cool. We got Weymouth, Massachusetts in the house. We got Ohio in the house. Cool." And you start shouting those people out. Bill from Akron, Ohio. June from Austin, Texas. You know
Where
what I mean?
you at in Texas? Where you at in Texas? That's always I love all the because yeah, I've traveled my whole life, so I know so many little places, and it's getting people interacting from all over the world is so much fun. These
Yeah.
platforms are so great.
And here's an even like a clue. Like you just said it, Curry. Like if people say, "Oh, I'm from Massachusetts," you go, "Oh, where in Massachusetts are you from, Billy Bob?" you know and then you just try to get a little more specific, but again, you're shouting people out, you're engaging with your audience, and they're engaging back, and that's going to get addictive to the people that are watching, and they're going to want to hear their name called. It's just
Let me tell you, we did the other night on TikTok. We actually did we played a game. Christy would bring up a 90s movie, and we would play from YouTube the song from
mhm,
the soundtrack, and we would just sit there and let people guess the song and the movie. And we had hundreds of people playing this game, and
mhm.
I've decided I'm going to start doing it for money. Like I'm actually going to give people real gifts as it gets bigger and bigger for being like the top guesser and
Mhm.
earn points. And it's like it became so fun. And like I said, we're not pitching business. We're
Mhm.
building relationships, letting people see who we are and how this is working. And let me tell you, when people walk in those rooms that I know now and they're following me, I shout them out. We got this Roxanne. Every time I see her walk in the room, I just do it, Roxanne, every single time. And now it's become the thing. And it's like, hey, Curry. So it's, guys, you just do it and have fun. Like when you figure out that it's fun and not scary, it just becomes part of what your daily income producing activities.
Yep.
Just do it.
And here's one of the biggest realizations that I'm going to try to give you guys right now is it can become fun. It may be nerve wracking right now. It may scare the crap out of you. You might be nervous as all heck, but it can become fun. But it will only become fun if you let it. If you hang on to it and you live in your fear and you just stay in your little cocoon in your bubble, it's never going to become fun. You're never going to get value from it. You're never going to get benefit from it. You're never going to enrich other people's lives or help people out or any of that stuff if you stay scared. Remember, like, if this is your safety bubble and this is your little world right here and you do your little posts and you hang out with your little people, but you want success, well, guess what? Success is hanging out here. It's like your planet Earth and success is in the outer rings of Saturn out here. You know what I mean? Like you gotta open up and expand to go get it. And if you don't do the things, success is never going to come your way. It's the whole, another valuable lesson. Maybe write this down, maybe think about this, but it's like you can't have the mental state of I'm going to do the bare minimum and hope for the maximum. Like I'm going to put in the bare minimum amount of effort, but I'm really hoping that I get the maximum amount of output back. Like it just doesn't work that way.
I like how you brought this full circle. Like from the beginning of the conversation, we just literally said the same exact thing that we said at the beginning of the conversation.
And, like, don't be upset with the results that you don't have from the work that you didn't do. That's about as simple as I can make it right there.
It's what we got. It's what we got.
And we'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that. Episode 11 in the books, Curry. My goodness, we're going to be moving on to episode 12. And, man, pretty soon we're going to be at 20 and then 100 and then, man. And then
eventually we're going to have to be friends. You know what I mean? Eventually we're going to have to be friends. And this is, right now we don't even like each other, but, it's hilarious. I think these things are so funny watching people. Oh gosh, knowing where we came from years ago to this is so great. It's so great. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me be part of this with you.
Of course, man. It's no place I'd rather be on a Monday morning than dropping some value and having a good time. And this stuff is easy. And like we said at the beginning, man, like we literally, it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
It's really like that.
And this is what you guys get. We just roll. And it's effortless, it's easy, and you guys could be doing this too in your own business, whether it be just going live and talking about whatever you want, what brings you joy, what brings you passion, or talking about your business. It could be easy and it could be fun, and we hope that it is. So if you made it here, we appreciate you. Please smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon if you haven't already. I'm sure it's on the screen somewhere right about here. Go ahead and hit that thing, and then we'll see you guys on the next one. So for Curry, I'm Daniel. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on episode 12.